You know what's coming.
Your daily deep dive into everything Utah Jazz.
It's time.
All season long and even in the off season. It's Jazz Daily with JJ and Alex on your exclusive home of Utah Jazz basketball. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome on in, everybody. Of course, if you hear that Grammy-nominated question mark opening,
Dave Tesh won a Grammy, right?
Just Dave. John still hasn't won his yet. So we'll see.
There's still time.
Do they give out? I mean, there's some awards for like the music that opens up sporting events, right? Or the like stuff on networks. Has to be.
Gotta be.
Because you think about it, like John Williams does all the Olympic stuff, and Jurassic Park. You know, so wide range there, and he's won stuff for Jurassic Park. Well, what about the Olympics? You know, so I would assume that song, Round Ball Rock, has to be. If it's not Grammy nominated, there's other awards it should have
with
won,
or without the lyrics.
Well, the lyrics are inappropriate, so you got to bleep some of those out. We got lots to get through here. Well, as we walk you up to Jazz coverage, of course, coming up at the 6 o'clock hour. We're going to kick off the program as we always do right here with the cut. So let's jump in right here because, you know, it's got a sponsor and everything. We want to make sure and give them their due. Here you go.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Trajan Wealth brings you this portion of the program. TRAJANwealth.com for all your trusted local needs in retirement. It's TrajanWealth.com. Okay. And also brought to you by the awesome folks at Hercules First Federal Credit Union. Growing stronger together. JJ, let me see here. First time for us to be able to hear, while he's here in the state of Utah, the newest member of the Utah Jazz, one of the newest members of the Utah Jazz. He is, of course, Jaren Jackson Jr., who had his media availability today. First time we got to hear from him here in the state of Utah, and he's going to be playing his very first game. Wait, has he been scratched? Healthy scratch tonight? No? Regular. Okay. Available.
Egregious.
Come on. He's available. So here's what we're going to get. We're going to roll out for you the very first press conference for Jaren Jackson Jr. given today. This is your newest Jazzman and one of the better players across the league that was dealt during the trade deadline. Here you go.
Yeah, I mean, the first couple of days I wasn't even with them. They were on the road, and I was able to go to Salt Lake with Jitty and Vince, and we're kind of just, you know, taking it all in and getting our minds right. But, you know, after that, meeting them in Orlando, in Miami, it's been a lot of fun. I mean, you guys know them better than me, but they just seem like great guys, and they play together as a unit, and they, you know, it's just been a great experience. Made me feel welcome and everything.
You've played against this team for 8 years, and you've played in this arena. What do you think it's going to be like when the fans kind of greet you and give you your official welcome to Utah?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's probably going to be loud. Every time I've come here, it's never been quiet. A lot of energy all the time. So, yeah, I think I'm mainly excited for that, to have it on my side a little bit. Usually you're anticipating it, trying to work through it as an opponent, but, you know, now it's with me.
The Jazz obviously acquired you, not just for this season, with an eye toward the future. How do you feel like you kind of fit in terms of your skill set? What do you feel like your role on this team is going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that. You know, I feel like I'm versatile. I feel like I can do a lot of things, and this system is a different offense than anything I've played in before. But it's something that I think teams and me in particular not have had trouble guarding, but definitely locked into guarding. I think it's a system with a lot of movement, especially offensively, and I think I can bring a lot to the table. Learning more about it every day, I learn a little bit more. So, you know, asking me right now about it is a little bit tough, but I'm still learning like a couple things every day that would be unique to me in the system that's going to help me.
What's it like playing alongside Larry? I mean, he has a lot of size. He's a potent weapon on offense as well.
I mean, there's not much he can't do on the floor, which definitely helps everybody on the team. And I think just being a threat from everywhere, you can't go under. When he puts the ball on the floor, you have to respect him. You know, when you're driving at him, you have to kind of make a choice, stay home, or it's kind of lights out with him. So, you know, it's been crazy to play against him for this many years and seeing him improve. And then, you know, at this point in our careers, playing with each other, I think it's nice.
There's kind of been a lot of talk league-wide about you guys sitting in the fourth quarters of the last couple games. I'm curious, how do you feel about it?
I mean, as a player, you always want to be out there, but you know, if you're out in the first quarter, out in the second quarter, third or fourth, I mean, you just have to make an impact when you're in the game. That's what you have to focus on. If you focus on when you're not out there, you know, you're gonna struggle as a player. If you're a rookie, a young guy, you wanted to play in the first half and you didn't, or whatever, you play in the third, like all that comes into play, man. You have to. This is my 8th year, so stuff getting thrown at me. I feel like I have enough experience to, you know, be mentally capable through anything.
You know, when you look at where you started in this league, you know, kind of as a teenager, and now you're 26, 27?
What am I? Something like that.
Something like that.
26. Yeah.
But you know, you're rounding into the prime of your career. I mean, you know, what's that journey been like for you? You know, starting out so young in Memphis, and honestly going to a franchise. You know, obviously the geographic part is different, but you know, a lot of similarities between the franchise that you're going to as opposed to when you're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's been feels like 3 years, but it's been 8, and yeah, I'm blessed to be able to be here like this. You know, people who get closer and closer to a decade in a year, that's special. You're in rare company at that point, and you know, there's so many people I could give credit for helping me get to this point. But yeah, I'll probably save that for a speech down the line or something. But I just, you know, I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be here. I'm blessed for everything that's happened to me up to this point. Everybody who's believed in me and helped me work on my game and trusted in me, and I feel like I've gotten better every year, and I want to continue that, no matter how old I get, you know. So, yeah.
You know what it's like to be on a playoff team, playoff contender. Maybe not this year, but where do you see the trajectory of this team? Do you think this team with a full season, full off season with these guys, this could be a playoff team as early as next year?
100%. I mean, my goal is to come here and, you know, win a championship here. So I don't really think my mind is geared toward anything else. That's just kind of the mentality that I have. And then when you look at who we have, like, I really like what I see.
You mentioned getting better every year. This staff prides himself on player improvement. What's your relationship been like with Will? We saw you out there talking with him after shoot around, but it's early. But what are your thoughts about him and the coaching staff?
Yeah, I mean, our relationship started like hour 2, you know? So it's probably the second person I talked to when I got back to my house on the phone, you know, after seeing everybody and my own staff and everybody else, and it was a whirlwind at first for sure, but you know, they had a game that day, and we had a game that day, and I was talking to him just about how the day is going, honestly. But right now, you know, it's a lot of X and O's, how he sees me in certain systems, and I'm just learning terminology, the plays, different options, different reads, and then I'm kind of shooting ideas that I've had about certain things and just how we approach, you know, practice and the games, and it really comes from a lot of me asking questions to learn about what they were doing before I was here. So yeah, you know, we're talking about everything. Great relationship.
At 26 and 8 years in the league, you're a younger coach. How would you describe your leadership style?
I like to lead by example. I think being year 8, like the league's getting younger and younger, and everybody's just kind of like, you know, like these guys are young. So I think just leading by example, my work ethic, and that's kind of like the main thing. Being vocal, especially defensively. I think that's where you really can make your mark. If I were to give advice to somebody for anything, you know, to really make your mark defensively, because that's where you can be the most vocal. Offensively, you know, you can talk offensively, but there's a lot more moving around, a lot more things you got to focus on. But if you can disrupt the other team with your voice and communicate to the guards and communicate to anybody, you know, that's going to mess up your opponent. It's going to help us. So, yeah, just being vocal.
Looking at next year, you won't see it this year, of course, but playing with Walker Kessler might be one of the better defensive centers you played with. You might be at your best at like a roaming four kind of role defensively. Are you excited for that pairing with him?
Yeah, I mean, I've played with Walt before in USA, so I know what he brings to the table, and he's hard to score over. So I'm glad I'm on this side of it, and I'm glad, you know, they're going to see me, they're going to see him, they're going to have to make choices. That's what it's really all about, making the other team make choices and giving our team a ton of them.
Curious what your perception of Utah was and the Jazz organization as an outsider for 8 years, and what have you, is there anything different that you've learned since the short time you've been here?
I think, I mean, everybody's pretty nice. You know, I think it's a very, I don't know if it's a homey kind of vibe when you're driving around. It feels pretty homey. I don't think I got out the hotel much when I was, well, actually, that's not true. I've been here for All-Star. Summer League, I was here. I know about Park City. I know, you know, it's beautiful views. I used to come here to ski when I was younger with my mom. So, yeah, I do kind of know. I don't think when I was younger I was paying much attention. But, yeah, I think we're selling out games. I think just the fan engagement and everybody just being happy, and the reception I've already gotten has been great. So I really appreciate that. You know, that goes a long way for me. Yeah, and it was hard to breathe. So I'm glad to get that on my side too and get adjusted to that. So everybody else got to deal with that.
Knowing that you and Lowry are playing together, you guys are unique as, you know, some footers who play outside in, both shoot the ball, both on the floor. If just curious, if you were having an out-of-body experience and you had to guard two of those guys, I mean, how would you do that as an opponent? And
two of who?
You and
me and him? Oh.
Yeah, 2 7-footers who play like that on the same team, kind of simultaneously. You know, how would you deal with that, and you know, what's that going to be like, kind of being on that side of it?
I mean, it's a blessing to be on this side of it. How would I guard it? You usually got to make stuff difficult. You know, we're NBA players. That's how I would approach guarding other talented NBA players. You can't just expect to take away every single thing. You have to make life difficult and force them into stuff that's uncomfortable time after time, so they get tired and they just do stuff they don't want to do.
I love when you get a guy here 10 minutes and then you're like, how awesome is the welcome, Ben? You're like, I just got here. But there was a grocery store by me, I guess called Harmon's. Great donuts.
Great salad bar.
And by the way, the guy there at the store was nice. So yeah, Utah is nice, full of nice people. So there you go. This is a press conference from a guy, JJ, who is ready to play basketball.
Yeah, there's no
good.
question.
And he's a pro.
Yeah, to be honest, he was in basketball purgatory in Memphis. That thing was going nowhere fast.
Yeah.
And he probably, because he signed a long-term contract, may have been concerned or worried that he'd be stuck in that situation for a while. I don't think he wanted to be a part of a rebuild during the prime of his career.
No.
And now he comes and he becomes an important face and an important player in this new era of Utah Jazz basketball, which essentially will begin next season as a playoff contender.
Yeah.
And with him and Lowry Markkinen and Walker Kessler, once business is taken care of this summer, and an Ace Bailey and a Keontae George and whoever this first-round draft pick is coming up, and these pieces they have off the bench with Bryce Sensabaugh and Isaiah, they have so many great players, and Flip, they got so much depth that they're going to have on this team, and they still have a lot of picks left to make moves or to add more young guys on cheap rookie contracts to this roster to keep it going in the future. This is a foundational piece of this new era of the Utah Jazz, and he's a perfect fit, both on and off the court, and you listen to it right there. Great guy, great personality, but also all about business, all about ball, and he's a perfect fit for Utah.
So tonight, going to make his debut as a member of the Utah Jazz here at home for the first time. What's your over-under on points scored first night in Utah? He wants to impress everybody against a really bad, really not trying very hard, dare I say just, what was it? Egregious?
Yeah, egregious.
Egregious Sacramento Kings when it comes to tanking. No DeAndre Hunter, no Zach LaVine, no Malik Monk, no Keegan Murray, no Domantas Sabonis, no Russell Westbrook, although that probably helps him. So give me a stat line for Triple J tonight. I'm going to write it down, and we're going to hold your feet to the fire.
So
tomorrow.
Jaren Jackson Jr. would go for 30 tonight. But the Jazz are egregiously not going to allow him to play the fourth quarter.
Come on.
So he goes for 25 and he doesn't rebound very well. So 25 points.
Okay, I'm gonna go he does eclipse 30.
Wow,
I'm gonna
in
say
3 quarters?
I'm gonna say he ends up playing more than 3 quarters, and I'm gonna say that but just a little bit. And I'm gonna say it's a 31-7 performance tonight from Jaren Jackson.
That would
Jr.
be a massive performance in 3 quarters.
Mark it down. Okay, hold on. Annapolis, we got to keep ourselves honest here. What did you say it was, 25?
I went 25.
25
So
points.
I'll take 25 and below.
Give me a rebound.
You take 26 and over.
Give me a rebound number then.
5.
Okay. So let's do this because I went over on the thing. So let's go.
He may have more blocks than rebounds.
So you're going to take the the point total. I'm going to take the 26.5. I'm taking the over, and on rebounds 6.5. I'm taking the over. You're taking the under.
I'll take
on
the
both
under,
of those.
yes.
Okay. Gosh, I wish you believed in the Utah Jazz new basketball player.
They're egregious
Jaren Jackson Jr.
ways.
How dare you? Okay.
Egregious.
We'll come back. We've got more around the corner. Hey, one of the guys who was asking a question in that press conference, questions that actually made sense, Chandler Holt of course, covering the Utah Jazz here for KSLSports.com.
Younger brother of Steve Holt. Steve Holt.
Steve Holt. Chandler's going to come back and tell us about this, the egregious actions of the Utah Jazz, but also what this game's going to look like tonight against the Sacramento Kings and the Utah Jazz over here at Delta Center. Stay here, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest name.
You're locked into JJ and Alex. With the insight and analysis on the teams you can't live without. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scotty G's going to be out on the road on Friday, noon to 3 at Tim Daly Mazda in Sandy, 10785 South Automall Drive. That's Tim Daly Mazda in Sandy. Got some breaking news during the break here that was no good for anybody hearing this news. And you talk about, we've talked about the kinds of things that can happen in the off seasons, the kind of stuff that happens that, and these are stories that transcend whether it's sports or not, whether it has to do with athletes or not. But JJ, give us an idea here what the notification that we received during the break here about a BYU football player.
Yeah, Washington County's Attorney's Office just issued a press release that Parker Trent Kingston, age 21, has been charged with felony rape. The Attorney's Office says the investigation began in February of 2025 when a 20-year-old woman reported to police officers in St. George that she had been sexually assaulted. She claimed that Kingston assaulted her on February 23rd, 2025. Detectives with the St. George Police Department then gathered digital and forensic evidence and interviewed people involved in the case before turning it over to the Washington County Attorney's Office. Kingston has been taken into police custody in Washington County and is being held without bail. He has an initial court appearance scheduled for Friday, February 13th at 1:30 p.m.
So those are the facts of it, and obviously the moving parts that go along with a case that has this type of sensitivity that deals with it is massive. And the fallout, of course, usually a lot more than what football matters in a case like this, right? And so these are cases that, are ones that we always have to just kind of wait for and see what happens. A lot of allegations, and obviously just charged right now. And we'll have to see what the future brings for Parker Kingston. Obviously, a major piece of what BYU's offense would be in 2026 as they go forward here. And you're likely wide receiver 1 for that team as well. So lots of questions that need to get answered before this whole thing goes down. But, of course, we're waiting to see what the legality and what all the criminal activity or the criminal charges and all the things that come with it. And then, all the things that would come with that, defenses and prosecutory dealings, of course, in Washington County. So bad news for everybody involved. So there you go. And so that just came down the pike here right before we were coming back on the air here. So I know it sounds abrupt here as we make that transition into talking Utah Jazz, who have a game here coming up in about an hour and 20 minutes. That means 20 minutes until our Jazz pregame right here on the radio home of the Jazz. And, of course, talking with us today and nice enough to join us, he's Chandler Holt. And we just got done listening to the Jaren Jackson Jr. Press conference. And, of course, the newest member of the Utah Jazz making his newest debut here at the Delta Center for the first time. And Chandler asked a couple questions of young Jaren Jackson Jr. What's it like? What was it like? What was the vibe at the press conference? And what's it like having this guy now in the state of Utah playing for the Utah Jazz?
Yeah, it was fresh off of the practice earlier today. Him and Will Hardy sat there and chatted at the top of one of the three-point lines for about 5 minutes. They eventually came over and vibes were high. Everything seemed good. He talked about the Utah home crowd. He said it's always loud when he's here, and he's excited to have it on his side for the first time in his career. And they're playing the Sacramento Kings, who are one of the worst team in the league. Don't even have to add the one of the qualifier there. So maybe a third straight Jazz win for the first time this season, I believe.
Well, that would be bad.
I agree.
Do we not know the assignment? I'm joking, but not joking. We have seen Jaren Jackson on the court during this road trip, and it's looked great. What are your first impressions of Jaren Jackson Jr. on the court with Lauri Markkanen and in this offense?
Offensively, it is already ridiculous, and it will only get more ridiculous when you add Walker Kessler to start next year, both on offense and defense, what he provides. But just with Lauri and Triple J right now, you have 2 7-footers who can dribble, shoot, go off the catch, go off the dribble, run in transition. Lauri isn't much of a defender, but you've already seen Jaren Jackson's defensive impact. It has been plainly awesome so far. Jaren Jackson is averaging 22. He's had 22 points back-to-back games. Hasn't played in the fourth quarter either game, but the Jazz are going to have to be a bit more aggressive than just not playing him in the fourth quarters, it looks like, in order to hold on to their top 8 protected pick.
Yes, but does he play in the fourth quarter tonight? This is the first home game back. JJ and I were trying to figure out an over-under for how many points he's going to score at home to impress the home crowd. I've got him. I'm taking the over at 20 over the 26.5 is what we set it at. But I mean, this is a guy who can score, and everybody looks and goes, "Well, he can't rebound very well." What's the reality of what the Jazz fans are getting with Jaren Jackson Jr.? And it was brought up during the press conference, the pairing with Walker Kessler potentially in that front court.
Yes, so it is no secret that Jaren Jackson is not a good rebounder for his size. He also has a tendency to get in foul trouble at times, which is just sort of a thing that comes with rim protectors. I think that is a bit blown out of proportion for Jaren Jackson. There are some players like Karl-Anthony Towns who are even worse than him, and that's actually a problem for them. I think if Jaren is getting 4 or 5 fouls a night, but he's also contesting 90% of the shots when he's in on the court, then it's not really an issue. But the Jazz are 30th. They are last. There are teams with like the Sacramento Kings tonight, who have 12 wins, who have all the vets, and they're just a much worse team than the Jazz, and they have a better defense. That was the main thing the Jazz needed to attack, and they did exactly that. Maybe now they need to look to get a little bit more perimeter defense, or maybe you're just expecting guys like Keontae George and Ace Bailey to make jumps on that side of the ball. But I think the Jazz really hit a bullseye with this one. I think they really went and they got the guy that fits exactly what they needed, addresses probably their biggest weakness. And I'm excited. Regarding tonight's game, I'm with you on the over. If you see the Sacramento Kings injury report, they're rolling out a glorified G League squad tonight. So even if you didn't play Triple J, then you might have won this game anyway. So I'm with you. Just go all out tonight.
How are the Jazz such the bad guys in all the tanking stuff when we see stuff like this? Jeez.
What has been your reaction to some of that, Chandler? You've watched it all, and like for some reason the national media are picking on the Jazz about this when tanking's been going on for 40 years. What is that all about?
Exactly. I'm 100% with you. I don't get why all of a sudden now. I mean, it makes sense a bit why. You just make a buying trade, a win now trade, and you're still trying to lose. From the Jazz's perspective, it makes sense why you're trying to lose. From the national perspective, it does look a bit fishy, but there's been, like you said, 40 years. Tanking, and unethical tanking, if you want to call it that, goes back to the mid-'80s. Like, the Rockets did it to get Hakeem Olajuwon when they already had Ralph Sampson. Like, that is how far this goes back. So acting like it's some new thing and it's all Danny Ainge's fault is absolutely ridiculous.
This franchise, a well-documented history of just embarrassing themselves with the tank. It's like, this is a market, and I love that. I thought it was crazy they brought up Will Hardy's name, and they're like, and look, Will Hardy's just sitting on his hands, just not even taking timeouts. You're like, while the team is getting absolutely, blasted, I'm going, why would you take timeouts if the team's getting steamrolled at the end of the game? What could you possibly say in a timeout that would help a situation where you're down by 30? That makes me angry.
I'm with you. It doesn't make a lot of sense. I think that the national, I think it was ESPN who had the big segment on it. I think they just had an open 20 minutes they needed to fill.
That's probably right. What's today's outrage of the day? Let's pick on the Utah Jazz.
Well, let's do it 2 days in a row, too, because that's what they've been doing.
The good news, Chandler, is after this season, we don't have to hear about tanking in this market for quite a long time.
We hope.
Because this roster's built to win next year and win big. What you I know you're in the daily grind. You're focused on this team each and every day. We get to lose ourselves in college football, NFL, all these other things. You're focused on the Jazz day in and day out. That has to have been taking its toll because it's not been fun over the last 3 or 4 years. What was it like for you? How refreshing was it to see this deal go down and know that there is light at the end of the tunnel now for this franchise?
I am extremely excited. I'm excited to watch, not see any of these fluky injury reports and all this stuff. And again, this is not a Utah Jazz thing. This is an NBA thing. Their system promotes this type of thing. But no, I'm very excited. I've also always liked Jaren Jackson. That Memphis team was always interesting to me. And I think pairing him next to Walker Kessler, Jaren Jackson played with Marc Gasol for like 40 or 50 games in his rookie season. But since then, not really any defensive-minded centers next to him. So I'm really excited to see how that plays out going next year. I don't expect them to be some high 50s win team, but I think they'll make the playoffs. And I think after years of gelling and also expecting more jumps from Keontae George, a first jump from Ace Bailey, and of course, hopefully, as long as the Jazz don't keep winning whatever this draft pick ends up being, I think the future's bright. And I think that Jaren Jackson was the first domino to fall. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Chandler Holt, he is, of course, one of our Jazz beat writers for KSLSports.com. And, of course, he and Ben Anderson do a phenomenal job of hosting Jazz Notes together. You can download that podcast on our website or wherever fine podcasts are found. Chandler, enjoy the game tonight. We'll chat with you again, man.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Chandler.
There you go, Chandler Holt. Steve Holt. We're going to take a break. We'll come back and we'll put a bow on this thing before we get you ready for Jazz basketball coming up at the top of the hour. So stay here, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Wrapping up the hour with our picks for the best and worst moments on today's show. As JJ and Alex want to hear your best and worst of the day.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Alex, Kirry, Jeremiah, Jensen. Of course, we rolled out the breaking news last segment that the Washington County Sheriff's Office has filed charges against wide receiver for BYU, Parker Kingston, stemming from an incident that occurred last February. According to their offices, Parker Kingston has been charged with first-degree felony rape and is being held in jail down there in Washington County without bail. Obviously, as this thing, as they gathered some of the information they went through, and then they felt like they had enough to press forward with charges there. So that, of course, is another topic that we're going to be able to, we're going to have to address, of course, in the coming days, and as that whole thing rolls out there. But JJ, Jazz versus the Sacramento Kings tonight. What happens over at Delta Center?
Something egregious.
By somebody.
It
might be by both of them, by the way.
The most egregious thing is the Jazz are going to win tonight.
Oh, no!
I know, right? Because you can't out-tank the Kangs. Jazz are going to win tonight, and it's not the assignment, but you can't lose them all.
Well, Okay.
As hard as you try, you can't lose them all.
Well, we'll make sure and dive into that, of course, all tomorrow as well. You're going to get the coverage right here, pre-half and post, and the game right here on your home of the Utah Jazz. And we'll, of course, come back tomorrow and we'll talk all about it. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Jazz basketball coming right up. Stay here with us.